research says that early human Eden was so lush, even migratory animals did not want to move. This is a view of Palaeo Agulhas Plain, as it might have been 200,000 years ago, the left image. And today, on the right, is what it looks like. It's, of course, covered with water. But you can imagine what a lush savanna must have been 200,000 years ago and how the terrain has changed. Now, new research details the hidden ecosystem that once acted as an Eden-like sanctuary for animal life. This, of course, included early humans at the southern tip of South Africa. The Palaeo Agulhas Plain, or PAP for short, it's now submerged by ocean waters off the South African coast, and it could have provided a rich habitat for all kinds of animals during glacial periods when coastal waters receded, exposing shallow continental shelf at the southern tip of the African continent. Today, researchers study the landscape and the ancient evidence it reveals about early humans, and they do this through studying cave sites such as those in Pinnacle Point near Mossel Bay. Today, those crags are coastal caves, but in time long past, these same sites would have looked out over vast plains inundated with rivers, and during glacial cycles, the coastal shelf was exposed. This is what anthropologist explains Jamie Hodgkins from University of Colorado, Denver. And he says there would have been a large amount of land in front of the cave sites. We thought it was likely that humans and carnivores were hunting animals as they migrated east and west over the exposed shelf. To test the hypothesis, Hodgkins and her team analyzed teeth of ancient herbivores, antelopes who lived at the site about 150,000 years ago. They were looking for signs of carbon and oxygen isotopes preserved in the tooth enamel, and that could be used as an indicator of traveling patterns of the animals. Scientists already knew that seasonal rainfall influenced types of plants that grow in the eastern and western zones of the region. Presence of these plants in the animal's diet could be traced through analyzing molecular isotopes such as carbon-13 and oxygen-18, the latter of which shows up differently in summer and winter rainfall. I didn't even know that. Now, hypothetically then, varying isotope ratios found in the animal's tooth enamel via the isotopic signature called delta 13C could indicate the migratory expanse of the antelopes moving between regions as the seasons changed, but that's not what the researchers found. Comparing the teeth from 39 specimens of ungulates, that is, hoofed animals, including hartebeest, wildebeest, and springbok, the researchers found that the isotope signatures for most part did not vary between migratory animals and non-migratory animals, such as the common reedbuck, which served in the study as a control group. Quote, overall, the delta 13C results do not support an ecosystem model in which most herbivores were undergoing long-distance point-to-point migration that would be consistent with an east-west migratory system along the PAP. This is what the researchers explain in their paper. That finding parallels a similar discovery made in a previous study, leading Hodgkins and team to conclude that the conditions in the exposed coastal PAP region could have been so flourishing that even migratory animals opted to stay put, because they had everything they needed, fresh water and food. They weren't struggling at Pinnacle Point, Hodgkins says. She says, we now know that powerful river systems supplied the expanded coast. Thus, animals did not have to be migratory. It was a great location, resource-wide. This coastal shelter wasn't just bountiful for creatures on hoofs either. The same hospitable conditions would have likely attracted a diverse array of animal life, making the terrain a rich hunting ground for early humans in the Pleistocene, regardless of how glacial cycles may have determined the shoreline of the eons. During interglacials, when the coast moved closer to the caves, humans had shellfish and other marine resources. When the coast expanded in glacial times, hunters had access to rich terrestrial environment. Hunters would not need to be as mobile with all of these herbivores wandering around. Related research from some of the same team previously found evidence to suggest humans thrived in this area during the eruption of the Mount Toba supervolcano about 74,000 years ago. Each Such an achievement might not have been possible without the generous resource afforded by the coastal haven, enabling humans to overcome even terrible hardships of a volcanic winter. While there's still a lot we don't fully understand about the Palaeo-Agulhas plain, the plain of South Africa, and the ancient conditions that prevailed in this long-gone landscape, we're learning more than ever at the moment. Hodgkin's study is part of a new collection that brings together 22 research papers on this ancient Eden, helping us comprehend just how important this vast prehistoric ecosystem was in sheltering and enabling life during the Pleistocene. The Palaeo-Agulhas plain, when exposed, was a Serengeti of South Africa. The Serengeti of the South, positioned next to some of the richest coastlines in the world, says lead researcher on the project, archaeologist Curtis Marian from Arizona State University. Quote, this unique confluence of food from the land and sea cultivated the complex cultures revealed by the archaeology and provided self-harbors for humans during the glacial cycles that revealed that plain and made much of the rest of the world unwelcoming to human life. The findings were reported in quaternary science reviews. This is on Science Alert by Peter Dockrell. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.